Righto, now we're going to put some beams on the house. So we need a beam around here, a beam around the outdoor area. So first off, we've got to go to beams location. We don't want to put beams on our ground floor level, we want to put them in our beams location. The reason we put things on different locations is later on when I show you how to use paper space, you want to be able to have things showing on the plan and not showing on the plan. So if I zoom members not to be shown on the plan, some members I want to see, some I don't. So if I put them all in different locations, that way I can zoom out a location or put it in. So it's pretty important to draw the plan in the right sequence. So we're going to do beams. So we go beams, members up here. Now it's members by picking points we want. So we use this top one. Now I'll collapse it all and just show you where you find it. So we've got the roof members. We've for concrete tile, metal roof. Shelving, we don't actually use this shelving anymore. It still works if you wanted to, but it's not the one we use. Bulkheads, internal bulkheads. Now framing and beams, righto, this is what we're after. So out the back here we're going to put a 250 beam. Now 250 beam should be alright. I mean, it's a bit of a guess at times, but you can go about 3.5 metres on a span on one 250 beam. Actually that's 190 beams, this one down here. Now you'll see if you look across, it's got no eave, no paint. Now this one here means it's going to be hidden inside the roof, so no one's going to have to paint it or see it. So that's not appropriate for here, because this is going to have because it's got no eave, because the beam goes in here 150 in, that means it's going to have a little 150 eave. So we need to go to the next one down. It's 250 beam, 240 by 45 KD F17 beam at 150 eave. So we'll click on that. Now it's pretty simple. Just hover over the wall, don't worry too much about where it lands, just make a square. Right, don't worry if it's too long or anything like that. Now what we do, click on it, grab the node, click it to the outside wall. Now we know the beam's 45mm thick, so we right click, move, hold down on your mouse button and move it in the direction you want and go 22.5, and see how it's moved it across to the edge of the wall, because I know the beam's 45mm thick. So with a member you can only snap to the centre of a member. Can't snap to a member won't snap to the outside edge, only to the centre. So that's why we snap it to the centre and then we move it across half the width of itself, which is 22.5, which I know sounds like a big long bits of rigmarole you've got to do, but that's just the way it is. Same with this one. Hold that, snap it to the centre of the post if it'll do it for me, which is not playing ball. There we go. Now we want to move that, actually, sorry, we go like this, move it to the outside edge of the post. Move it to this way, 22.5. Right, go to this one, same again, outside edge, right click, move in this way, 22.5, enter. Grab the node at the end here because that's too long, and now has to line up with the inside edge of the wall because that's how far the beam will come through, and it'll sit on there to hold the weight. So there we go, we've got the beam around the outside edge of the back porch. Now front porch, there's a few different beams we've got to go in here, but one most importantly, if you go to the top here, a veranda beam. This is really important, this veranda beam, because this veranda beam has a recipe made in it. As I draw it around here, what it does is works out all the rafters, everything that's involved in that veranda. So make sure you don't just go, oh, this beam here will do. It won't. It has to be a veranda beam. Okay, so we start it here. Just go down here, do. We'll just finish it. That'll do for a minute. I'll put one. So again, snap it to the outside edge of there. Snap this to the outside edge of there. Move that one forward 22.5, enter. The beam sits on the outside edge of the post, so that's why you've got to move it. That's how you work out where they go, 22.5. This here wants to go through and sit on the wall plate. there. This beam here wants to go through and sit on the outside of that. Portico will take care of the rest there. Now, because we've already set that up, why bother drawing another one? How about we just bring that out to there? Right click, break, snap it. Then we grab this here and take that back to where we wanted it. And that way we didn't have to worry about drawing another one or moving it or anything like that. Just makes it a bit simpler. Okay, now, well, of course we need another one here like this. And again, we just snap that to the outside edge of there. Right click, move it. 22.5, enter. And drag that in there like that. Now that beam actually probably only goes to there, but I'd rather it a little bit longer than a little bit too short. As I said, it works out a recipe for me. Now that's that beam. Now the next one, now what you'll notice, because we set up our beams, we go to the ground floor location, we've set up our beams at 2550, so that should work for out the back. It's not going to work out the front beam. So here's where you need to do a bit of adjusting. So if we go to 3D perspective, and you'll see that's pretty much where a beam would usually sit on a back porch. That's because the top of it is level with the wall plate, and that's how it should work. If we go around the front, you'll see it's a bit high because the front veranda's dropped. So if we get that once a foot, oops, I had that beam. There you go. Select all similar. Right click, elevate. And this is just a bit of a guess at the moment. We'll just go minus. What are we? 2-1. I don't know. Minus at 400. See what happens. That's not too bad, but I don't really want to see it, so we might elevate it minus 300 and see what happens. There we go. It's hidden up inside the roof, behind the fascia, so now the house looks normal again. If you come, oops, slow down, slow down. If you come around here, you'll see it up in the back there. You can see it inside the roof. Perfect, that'll do, just lovely. Now the next beams we need are the beams that hold this portico up. So go back in the 2D. This does have a 150 Eve on it. So what we'll do, is grab a, it's only coming out 190 would be good enough, 150 Eve on it. So we go from here across here, back there, repeat there. Again, don't worry about where you're clicking them. You'll fix all that up when you get to here. So so move that, move 22.5, and the other one snapped into position because I hooked it through the centre of this beam here. Move that, move 22.5, enter, drag that long enough, and there you have beams on the front of the portico. Now one thing that stands out to me that's going to look pretty ugly about this house, so we might actually do a bit of changing and a little bit of think about design. If this has got a, as it shows here, a we might have to go back into roof mode, but see how the gutter lines up and it's going to hit that wall. Well, that gutter needs to hit there. And same with here. This roof's lower than this roof, so that means the gutter would come past and we just see the end of a gutter. So what we might do is just pull this out a little bit. We'd need to go get some exact measurements. Say if I edit undo it, edit undo, we'll go move, and we'll bring it forward 200mm. Now that's going to make, now we'll go back in the floor, ground floor. This is all comes down to making, ground floor, making a house look right from the start. Now we're after roofs, click on the roof. We need to pull that roof back into there so it butts into the side. So that way the gutter would go into the side of the brick, so you wouldn't see the end of it sticking out. Otherwise that'd look horrible. We need to get this here, pull that out to that beam. Righto. So that way, if we drop some timber down underneath this beam where this gutter runs into, it's going to butt into a side beam. So that'll look much better either side of there. And same with this end here. This needs to come back into here. This there needs to line up with that. And we do the same to this roof here. Line it up in the centre of that. We're starting getting somewhere. Righto, now we go back into 3D perspective. You'll see that beam is sitting too low for what I want, because I'm going to do a few changes around this plan, so I don't really want to see this beam. When we find it, select all similar, elevate it, and we'll elevate it up 350. Okay, that should do. We can adjust that a bit later. Well, that's pretty much how you put beams in the house. Make sure they look good. That's why the 3D perspective's here, so you can come backwards and forwards and look to see where they are. But more importantly, make sure you put them in, and make sure you put them in with a recipe, so that way it adds up the price. Okay, well when we come back, we'll deal with some... Oh, actually no, there was one other thing I wanted to do while we were here, and that was the post brackets. Righto, now we're going to put some corner brackets on. Now we need to go into and find corner brackets. We go to landscape, so in the landscape tab, exterior accessories, and then when we come to exterior accessories, so click on exterior accessories, decorative accessories. Down here you'll find a corner bracket, a corner under gable bracket. Well, that's something to do with gable, so we don't want to know about that one yet. It's a corner post bracket we're after, so we grab that, we'll drop one on the ground. Now, as I said before, everything's associated with the floor level it's on, but these are exterior accessories, so they're hooked to go with the exterior of the house, so the terrain part of the house. So if you go into behaviour in these ones, not everyone has a behaviour tab. This is where you change where they sit in the way of height up off the ground. Now you could leave them at this and then just click on the item and elevate it wherever you like, but we already know the post is put in at the beam's put in at 2100, so we'll go 2100, change that there, go OK, move, snap that to there, and go into 3D perspective and have a look. And it looks like it's actually, we'll drive in there a bit further. There it is there. Righto, so properties, behaviour, because it's obviously reading it from the bottom of the, sorry, the top of it here, and that's putting to the top of the beam. So we've got to take the width of the beam as well off that. As far as I know, that was a 150 beam, so to 1950. Okay, and now it's going to go to auto save on us. Wait for that for a second. And the other thing you can obviously see, I've got it around the wrong way. So this is why you look at it now, see which way it's facing, and that way you can orientate yourself when you get back in the 2D mode. Right, now that can go down a bit further, that, so we'll double click on that and we'll go behaviour. I think we'll take that 1900. Some of these things are just a bit of trial and error, but if you understand where to find the problems, you can fix them. I'll go 1925. Okay, righto, beautiful. Back into 2D. This is actually set up to go on the other side, so we'll go move. Righto. Okay, now, actually we should have just duplicated that, because now we put another one over here. Now because we know that one's around the right way, this one's not, so we just spin it. See how I just go like that and the little circle turns up? When that circle turns up, then I click the button and just spin. I don't do what I like with it. So you'll see the arrow pointing that way on that one, and the arrow pointing on this side. Not necessarily which way it's pointing, but it's on this side of the stick. It's on that side of the stick. Okay, now we've got our corner brackets. So now what we want to do is select that one, hold down shift, select that one, same as we did with the post earlier, duplicate, right click, duplicate, oops, move, right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate. This one's obviously in the wrong spot there, so we just turn it like that, right click, move, sorry, I clicked the wrong side, so I've got to go this side, move, move, there it goes. On this plan it actually shows another one here, so I'll duplicate that, spin it round like I did before, and we'll just move it. Well, it won't snap because it won't find that there's anywhere to snap to there, so it'll just click it there, close enough. Right, now I've got my brackets in there. Now what we need to do, shift that one there, duplicate, grab that there, same over here, I've got to put one here as well on these posts, duplicate, there, and duplicate, move. For some reason or other these just didn't click to the right position, so we just need to move them over just a little bit. You can see there's a gap there. There we go, fix that. Now for some reason or another it looks like we've got two posts here, so I'm just going to move that one out. Something to be careful of is when you duplicate things, make sure, look at that, we've double duplicated that one. Now the problem with this, if you don't pick this up, you go and put your recipe in and you've got a heap of extra posts and you can't work out why the house is so bloody dear. Yeah, that one's right. Move. I think you're fine. I've done the same thing there. See, look at that. Yes, righto. Good lesson there. Delete that one. That one's right, I think. Yep. Need to undo. There's another place up here I did that, I think, so I better check. That one's right. Just check this one. That's right. Edit undo. That one's not right though. Edit undo. Like I should have known, because when I move, so a couple of times I pushed edit. I've gone to move and nothing's moved, and I thought, oh, what's wrong? So I pushed edit. Duplicate. Where I shouldn't have. I should have just deleted and started again. And that's what's happened here. I've duplicated things too many times. So at least this is how you can go about seeing if you've stuffed anything up. This is right. Edit undo. Edit undo. Right. Okay. Hopefully that's the only lot I stuffed up. Yeah, highlight that, duplicate, bring that to there, rotate that, move it, drop it. Okay, duplicate it again. Up here. Spin it. Move. Now, we go back into our, we've put them all on, we go back into our 3D mode. We'll walk back. This is just a walk back, this particular button down here, so it walks on a flat line. Righto, so all our post brackets are in. Nothing looks too sexy at the moment, still with it all. But by the time we're finished, you'll start to see what it's all about. We might have to do something with one of these. We might have to lift this post up to grab hold of all this, but we can fix all that up. But at least now, if you see it on the plan and you've used those post brackets, you can be assured that the price will go through, because I've got recipes attached. Just a reminder though, make sure you don't do what I did and double duplicate things. Okay? Righto. That'll do for this video. We'll come back later and work on putting some footings and things on the house. Righto? And then we'll get some gutters and whatnot on.